And here we go. So, welcome to World Tai Chi and Qigong Day for 2025. We are joining the energy around the world, over 80 countries. We're talking about millions of people all doing Tai Chi today. Hello, Dana. Good to have you. And I'm just so excited to be able to share some of the different concepts that we're going to have today, but we're going to expand it into more of a neuro arts experience than just Tai Chi. And so I'm going to introduce Marion Egan, and she's also pinned on the screen. Marion is in Ireland. She does what's called Heart Art Magic, and you can see some of her videos on her YouTube channel. You can also find Marion at marionegan.ie. So if you want to look up more of her work, you can. But Marion's going to actually be painting today in response to what we're doing, and as well as being linked to everyone around the world. And so we're looking forward to what this painting is going to look like. And then in the background here, I have Mari Britton. And Mari comes from Scotland, but lives here in Cape Breton and shares the space here, which is wonderful. And Mari is a singer, dancer, musician, and today she's going to be playing the harp for us. And if you're interested in more about Mari, then you can check her band, Farsan, F-A-R-S-A-N. And you can find them at Bandcamp, and I know on Spotify. So if you want to look up a little bit more of some of the work that she does, you can find it there. So she's going to be playing to the movements. She doesn't know what I'm going to do yet, so this will all be her interpretation of what's happening. So our focus for today is joining in the global initiative, and the theme is One World, One Breath. And when you see me step up, you'll see the front of my t-shirt, but on the back of my shirt is written in all the languages, One World, One Breath. And this is an idea of how we can have daily self-care routines that lift and support us throughout the day. And when we take care of ourselves, it means our community can be stronger, and it means those in the world also will be able to be stronger when we take care of who we are. The Global Transformation Project, which is headed up by Bill and Angie Douglas, is a huge initiative. They have gone to the UN and they have put forward a petition so that Tai Chi and Qigong are present in all schools around the world so that kids have the energy they need to be able to learn. So if you want to learn more about that project, hello Ruth, then if you want to check that out, it's called the Global Transformation Project. And you can read more about it and the science that goes behind why all of our children should be doing these activities every day. To get started, I want you to do a little bit of body awareness. I want you to know where you are at before we start so you can see where we are when we finish. And because we have the visual arts and we also have the musical arts coming in with us, we're going to have these extra inputs. So I'd like you to just check in with your breath and see where it is at the moment. And if it's more in the top half of the chest or it's shallow, maybe it's deeper, you can feel your ribs move, you can feel the diaphragm dropping. Just see what that feels like. And if you want to just kind of move your arms around, feel what the joints feel like. See how the day started for you. Some of you may be halfway through your day. And then I'll just get you to turn your head and see what it feels like when you turn it. How far can you see as you look around? And do both sides feel equal as you do that? Is there any crunching? Is there any limitations in some of the tissue? So just to check that out. All right, so those are a few ways that we can have some body awareness, but I'm going to introduce another one. So I'm going to get you to stand up, and we're going to check the 9 points of the feet. So for this, I know you can't see me standing, but on the feet, if you just feel where the weight is, and if it feels like the feet kind of are slanting in a little bit or maybe out, can you feel the 5 pads of the toes on each foot? And across the center of the foot, the big ball to the pinky ball, is it equally distributed weight across there, or is there pressure in one spot more than another? And if you go to the outside edge of the foot, does that have the same weight as the inside? And then if you go to the heel, do you feel the heel or are you really in the heel? If you're in the heel, then you probably notice your knees are locked up. So just noticing where that tension might be. And then the last part is to put the weight into the center in the bubbling springs. So the center of the foot, and just see as you bounce in that spot, are all the joints open? And so you should feel your lower back opening and closing. The knees will be soft and relaxed, the ankles nice and soft. All right, so there's our awareness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step back now, move the chair so you can see what I'm going to be doing. If you need to make the screen bigger so you can see me, you go to the top corner of my picture, there'll be 3 little dots, and you can actually bring that one forward. I do have it set up so that you can watch Marion painting while we're doing the movement, in case that's of interest to what she's up to. All right, and the last thing I didn't introduce before we get going is I have Lucky Dragon tea today. And I want to just raise awareness of this because I do represent both Tai Chi Cape Breton, which is the club at the east end of Canada on Cape Breton Island, but I also represent Wine Country Tai Chi Society, and that is in West Kelowna, BC. And we have a tea called Lucky Dragon, and it has an affirmation on it of create a clear vision for outcome and then let go of your expectations. The journey is the reward. So as you explore some of the movements today, don't worry about how good they look. Just see how you feel, what you're doing with it. And just notice how your body starts to change as you relax and let go. And as Mari's playing music, I know that opens everything up even more. So I just wanted to draw attention to the tea. I'm going to give you a cheers. Thank you for being here and being a part of it. I'll turn it so you can see Cape Breton Island. And Marion's got hers there. Right. Anything you want to say before we start, Marion?
Just ready to go, ready to rock and roll, and just enjoy the experience, and just allow whatever wants to come to you to just go and flow through you. Just being. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Marion. All right. So I see Tanya's on. Jenny's joined in. Got another Catherine. Fabulous. So glad to have you all here, and as more come on, it's just so great to see so many people. All right, so I'm going to back up my chair. Here we go. And knock over my stand where I'll be putting my notes. All right, so let me bring this down just a little bit so you'll be able to see my feet. All right, and what's going to happen is I'm actually going to go through the 5 principles of the seated form, and those have never been identified before because usually we talk about the standing form. And so I'm going to start with spine alignment. So you want to check in with where's your posture. You can give a little tug on your ears. And if you have to adjust in the chest or in the spine, then you know you've got a little bit of stress in the system. And as you pull on that, that's going to put you in the position of what is straight. And that would be what is normal. Anything else is showing you where the stress is in the body. And so that little assessment we can come back to at the end. And you may notice while you're there at the moment, you might be sitting with some effort to stay up straight. By the time we get to the end, it should be no effort. And that's where we're heading. All right, the other piece is, while you're sitting on that chair, it's very easy. If I'm eager and talking, I'll move forward into the chair, but that's going to put some tension into the pelvis. And I just want you to find between the sit bones, so either side the bum bones, and your tailbone, there's this little sweet spot that you can kind of rock back and forth in, and that is where all the joints in the body will open. And so we want to find that soft spot, because that's where all the movement is going to open the most. As you go back and forth in that sweet spot, just notice how that lower back, your tailbone will roll to go towards the floor and line up your spine for you. And you'll just feel that softness in there. So I just want to make sure you have that. And so we're going to be looking at spine alignment and engagement. So how that supports us when we're practicing Tai Chi. We're going to do that with hands turning. So I'm going to raise my hands so that the elbows are in line with my shoulders. I'll turn a little bit so you can see that part. But I'm also going to pull the arms forward so I can feel the shoulder blades engage in the back. And then I'm just going to turn the hands back and forth. And I'm also going to put my hands down lower. You can just follow me, but I'm going to be quiet now so Mari can find a piece of music that she'd like to play for this. Opening and closing the hands. As you open, you'll notice that little bit of rocking. Just feel that opening and closing on the sit bones. And then just bringing the hands up one more time. And let that go. Thank you. Beautiful. Okay. One of the things about putting our hands up like this and being able to turn is that in Tai Chi, we talk about the reciprocals in the body. And so your hand becomes your head, and your neck becomes your wrist, and your spine is represented by the whole forearm. So as we were turning, we had this opportunity to change what's going on in our spine. And we can do the same to our feet. So as we were turning our hands, we can also be impacting our feet, our ankles, and our lower leg. So what I'd like you to do now is just turn your head. You remember what it felt like when you turned it the first time. So now see if it's changed in your experience. And notice if some of the cracking might have disappeared, some of the tissue might have let go. And then that's how we start to begin to change how the structure is working, but not by turning the head, by turning another body part. All right, you may notice as you're sitting there that the spine may start to feel now like it's a little bit more lifted, and there might be a little bit more space that you can sense between the vertebrae. All right. Okay, so that is our spine alignment and engagement. So I'm going to move to the second one, which is navel radiation or the star. So how we move is based on 6 directions, and that is from head to tail, or head to tailbone, and then we have out with the hands and out with the legs. So we have 6 points of radius. The outer edges of those are monitored by our pancreas. And this is a way for us to know where we are in space and how we are in relation to ourselves and how we are in relation to other people. And the differentiation that happens is at the breath, the diaphragm level. So how that's going to be moving. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to explore a little bit about integrated movement. So I asked you to check in with your head to see what it feels like to move your head. Now I'm going to check in with you to see what does it feel like if you notice where the belly is. So when you turned your head, you probably didn't have any sensation of your belly. But what now I'm going to suggest is move from the belly to turn your head and see what happens. So if you move the belly first, and then the head, you may notice that you have more movement that comes into the rotation. And that's the start of integration. I'm going to get you to put your fingers up so that they're not going to be touching each other, a little bit open. And I'd like you to turn now and see what you notice about the movement. You may notice that you can feel the belly move, the spine, the shoulders, the head. You can notice all of those pieces. So now I want you to link your fingers together and do the same movement and see what happens. And then try the other side. What you may notice is you've got even more range of motion, but the other thing you'll probably notice is everything moved as one unit. So you weren't actually feeling individual muscles anymore. They all just came together as one. And in Tai Chi, we're actually building a development of awareness where we know the body as a whole body unit rather than isolated movements. And this integration helps how you move, but also helps the organs to know how to function correctly and how to work with each other. So what we're going to do for this one is we're going to do parting bamboo. So I'm going to take the hands up to a cross. I'm going to turn the palms. They're going to go out towards the front rather than the side. Rotate the hands to turn them down, which is going to bring them back. And then we're going to scoop the hands around to come back up. And as you get going, you'll notice how you're going to soften into the chair and move back and forth between the sit bone and the tailbone. So there's this little flow that's going to come with it, and of course it's going to get enhanced by the music. So here we go. So turning the hands, standing out, rolling it to take it to the back, scooping the hands, taking it back out, rolling it through, and scooping. Was so beautiful because all of a sudden you slowed down just a little bit, and it was like, so I don't know if anybody noticed. Like, it wasn't that I was holding my breath, but it felt like I could make a bigger breath, I guess maybe. So, all right. So as you're feeling through that, I'm hoping you started to get a sense of that tiny little bit of rocking back and forth in the pelvis. And it's so important for a lot of what we do. We end up actually really locking the pelvis, and the lower back takes a lot of extra stress. So it's a great way to soften it and let it open up. We have up in the top, that opens the lungs and the heart and really supports circulation, lymph fluid flow. So for those people with asthma, chronic conditions with lungs and breathing, this can be a really great exercise for people. So let's move to energy flow in and out, or the balance of yin and yang. And we have in our systems, we have pairs of organ systems. So the kidney and the bladder works together, and the liver and the gallbladder work together. And there's a balance of energy that comes in and then energy that goes back out. And so these systems have to always stay within balance. And Tai Chi provides a way for that to happen. So what we're going to do with this one is we're going to connect the meridians, so the energy lines and those organ systems, we're going to connect them through the movement of white stork spreads wings. And with this one, we start with the hands out in the front. So the right hand is going to be higher than the left hand. And if you get an approximate, that's okay if you've not done this before. Then the right hand is going to go palm to the belly. And then we're just going to lean into the feet just a little bit. And then the right palm goes down to the floor. And then they change places. So the left palm goes to the floor. And the right palm is going to come up. And then we're just going to have, like you're turning the light bulb, you're going to turn the hand. You'll notice your body's going to go with it. And then it's going to release. That hand's going to go to the back. And then we're going to come forward. Okay, it's your first time doing this move. That's a lot. But what you can do is just try to follow and just enjoy it. Enjoy the breathing and mostly enjoy the spine rotation in the middle. And what we're going to be doing is linking up all of the systems together, and we're going to be connecting so that they can harmonize. All right, so we have the other piece is just notice how again you're going to have this, not so much a flow front to back, rocking this way, but it's going to be a rocking that's going to lift up and then it's going to sink down. And that's going to be mimicking the flow of energy into the body, which usually comes in the left, and back out the body, which usually is out the right. Okay, so here we go. Right hand comes down, and that's going to come out. Right hand to the floor. Light bulb is going to turn. Open the right hand to the back, and bring it back to the front. We're just going to repeat it. So open. Right hand down. Let's do it one more time. All right, you may notice that you have a little bit of vibration going on, might be coming through your feet, might be coming into your hands, maybe it's coming up your arms or your legs. For me, it's going right around the whole core center, but I also have the heart right next to me. So I'm hoping you're starting to feel that, and that is your chi. That is the flow of blood and the lymph and all the oxygen, and it's just coming alive. And you want to feel that all day, every day. And so being aware of how you've changed since we started gives you an idea of what kinds of things you want to do in order to keep that there all the time. So let's go to the fourth principle for the seated Tai Chi, which is equal and opposite. And this part, we're actually going to do it through integrating spiral action. We did a little bit of that with white stork spreads wings because we got that initial turn. So what we're going to do with this one is coordinate an action again from the back. It's going to come through the front. So it's going to look very similar to what we did, We're going to be doing it on both sides. The part of this is we want to get to the place of releasing effort, so trying to get to no effort in the movements. And when we do that, it creates an open flow for our emotions. And we often think of our emotions as just an expression of something that's happened, but it actually comes in through the tissue, and different parts of the body respond to the different kinds of emotions. And as we go through these movements, we actually release that so that there's this harmonizing that happens. So we're not holding on to a whole bunch of anger or really, really excited for a long period of time. We actually start to balance it out so we can just feel calm and relaxed and open. So we're going to do that through the movement. Just going to flip it over here. So we're going to do two movements. One is called brush knees and the other one's called ward off monkey. So when we're doing brush knees, we're moving forward into the future. And when we do ward off the monkey, we're getting rid of our monkey thoughts, that busy mind, that circular thinking that happens all the time. And we actually move ourselves backwards and just release all of that, and then we can come forwards again. So I'll do a series of brush knees going forward, and then I'll do ward off monkey coming back. Same hand as you just had, so the right hand is going to open. Left hand just kind of floats out as that happens. And then the right hand is going to come through and push out. And then what we're going to do is take the left hand so it can spiral off, and then it's going to push through. And you'll notice how as you turn your hand, you're going to be turning in your belly, so that star of movement is happening. And when we're standing, doing the standing form, we end up adding our foot as well. When we're seated, we get that through the core because we're sitting down. So that's brush knee. Ward off monkey is almost identical. The hand is going to open, but instead of pushing the hand flat, it's actually going to turn palm up. And as it goes palm up, the tailbone can go straight back. So we're going to actually pull a little bit down the spine and give a little bit more length. Then we'll do it open on the other side. Palm's going to turn up, and we're going to pull right down the back on the other side. Okay. You'll notice in the back if there's any tension or any sore spots, you'll find a little bit of pulling, and you can just breathe deeply and just let it relax. Okay. So here we go. Right hand's going to open. Open. music. Okay, so as you're sitting there now, just notice that spine. So if you pull up on the ears, there's likely not very much movement that has to happen in order for you to now have no stress on the body. That's where normal is. That's what we want. And you might notice, again, that the chi flowing through, that you're feeling it, but also the separation of each of the vertebrae. So as you're coming up the spine, you can just feel like it's holding open with no effort. And that, again, is normal. So if you don't normally feel that, then you know this is something that you can participate in that can really make a difference for the system. So now I'm going to go to the last one. So this principle is about grounding and foot connection. Now, Tai Chi, most people recognize it as people in the park doing Tai Chi standing. And the last few years, we've really spent a lot of time between West Kelowna's Wine Country Tai Chi Society club members, as well as Tai Chi Cape Breton's club members, really focused in on the seated form and what is possible. And our feet are gaining a lot of awareness because as we move, we're massaging the bottom of our foot. And so this fifth principle about grounding is bringing in a subtleness that we don't normally think about, especially if we wear shoes all the time and we have our foot locked in a position. This is a way for you to really be more supple in the way that your foot operates. So from the six-pointed star that I mentioned before, the legs are two of the points of that star, but our feet are the outer edge, which is sending information back into the body and again being interpreted by our organs and tissue. And we've got that massaging happening. The reflexes that are engaged are grounding, stability, centering, balance. What did I miss? Grounding, centering, balance, stability, gravity. Those 5 reflexes are how you orient yourself in space as you learn how to crawl and to walk. And we get to massage them on the bottom of the feet and bring them back alive. As we do this, we want to keep our eyes up because our eyes are connected to our feet, so we have information going right away. But you want your eyes to stay up so that the proprioceptive system, that's your sense of balance, runs right through the center of the skull in the sphenoid. That is all engaged. You put your eyes on the floor, you're going to shut it off, but you want to bring it up because you're going to be massaging these feet and inspiring. So you want those eyes to be up. Look around, notice things around you, colors, visions. You can be watching Marion as what she's doing as she's painting, so bringing in all of those pieces so everything's alive. We're going to do this with a seated Danyu sequence. There are several ways that we can engage with the Danyu. It is one of our most powerful exercises, and we can explore it in a lot of ways. So I'm going to do hands only, then I'm going to be falling into the feet for the second one, then I'm going to do a sequence of 3. So for the sequence of 3, you'll need to slide your ankles back just a little bit behind your knee so you can get up out of the chair if you wish. If you want to stay seated, that's totally fine. We would go forward into the feet. The second one, we just glide forward and balance on the feet. And the third one, we scoop our hands up. And as the hands go up, we go up through the feet. And then we're going to sit back down into the same place that we've been. Okay? So that'll be seated to standing. You haven't done it before and you panic about the chair not being there. If you turn to see if the chair is still there, you will have changed your orientation, and that is where the discomfort comes from. So instead, leave your eyes up and out, and know that if you put your bum back, it will find the chair if the chair didn't go anywhere. Okay? All right, so that's my hazard warning for you. So here we go. Mario, if you just play all the way through, and I'll talk where we need to. Okay, so hands only, the palms are going to go up. Soft elbows, light wrists. Notice the rocking that goes between the sit bone to the tailbone. come back, you'll be pushing into the feet. So you'll feel those 9 points in the toes, engaging with the floor. Remember, with your eyes, you're seeing out. This is a great exercise for gaining the strength to get in and out of chairs, up and down off the toilet, traveling up and down the stairs. Alright, we're going to move to the sequence of 3. So your ankle's going to come back. We have into the feet, and then slide out to balance on your feet, and then lift. Out, and then balance, and then up. And out. And balance, and then up. And then balance, and up. And if we just go back to just arms. Notice where the chi is. Notice where the breath is. And the softness. And let that rest. All right. I hope you're feeling alive, because everything is just being so vibrant. Let's go back now. We've been through the 5 different principles of concepts that are within the seated form. So let's look at that spine alignment. So we did a little bit already. Likely you can already tell that you're like right where you need to be. Probably feeling that lift in the spine, and now no effort to be sitting up straight and tall in a normal fashion. And then if we go to the fluidity in the pelvis, so being able to rock back and forth, noticing between the sit bone and the tailbone, it might be a little bit softer there. If you were noticing any stiffness in the lower back, that might have disappeared. And then let's look at turning the head. Turn your head to one side, and how far can you see now? And did you notice if all of the muscles went with you as you went to turn without us even using the different hand positions? So I'm hoping you noticed right away the belly was like, yeah, let's go. And that means you're going to do a shoulder check in the car. It's going to be full rotation. You'll be able to see a lot further, especially to that blind spot that many of us have trouble finding. All right, so let's go to the breath. You take a breath in and just notice how deep it is. And I'm hoping that what you feel is as you're filling up the lungs, it's like you can fill air into that space and it can just keep going. I'm hoping that's what you found. And if you go back to the joints, you kind of moved around at the beginning, just to notice if those feel a little bit more fluid. You do the same to the legs and the ankles too. And then noticing if you're feeling calm, the mind is emptied out, there aren't any lists running through your mind, and you're just kind of present in the moment. And that's the other beautiful effect of Tai Chi, is it brings you to the moment, but it does that by releasing any of the stress that's locked in the body so you can move it out, rather than not moving and trying to find that same calmness. Sometimes we need that movement to bring it through. So let's stand up and go to the 9 points of the feet. So if you check in with your feet now, is there more awareness of those 5 pads of the toes? Can you feel the distribution across the ball of the foot? So now it's even. And if you had any weight more on one foot or the other, is it now across both legs equally? You feel the outside edge getting equal weight to what would be the inside. And then rather being back into your knees, back into your heels, are you into the center of the foot that if you wanted to jump, immediately you would be able to have open joints to make that happen if you felt like it? All right. So, all right, I would love to know what anybody experienced, if they had some increase in energy, change in fluidity of movement, any discoveries?
I discovered that it's hard to not to watch Marion paint the whole time.
You had the benefit of that, Tanya. That's awesome.
I missed that completely.
Beautiful.
I think, Michelle, it doesn't matter how many times I go back to the basic movements, I learn something every time. Even to bring awareness to our belly moving when we move, I think that will stay with me all week, especially since I'm traveling for meetings and there'll be a lot of sitting. I think that's a good, like, just that awareness. Like, every time I do the moves, it's a new awareness for me of different areas of my body that perhaps I'm not listening to or ignoring, or it's not that. I mean, I think a lot of times we're in automatic mode and we push our bodies to just do what we want them to do, and we don't necessarily are aware of our movements, and you just help me come back to myself.
Love it. I agree, Tanya, because, I've been doing parting bamboo for 30 years, but every day is a different experience and the body's in a new place, and it's lovely.
I guess it's like what Pema Chodron says about meditation, and she's been doing it for 40, 50 years. And she says you think you've got it all figured out, and then somebody at the group pisses you off, or something gets you into monkey mind, and then you're right back at beginner's mind. And I think you bring us back to beginner's body.
Perfect. I love that.
Just before we started, Michelle, I wrote down, when you're green, you're growing, and when you're ripe, you rot. So you're always learning. There's always something to learn.
I love it. Oh, great. All right.
I really have to say, or you just need a shower.
I definitely need one after that, I tell you. I get really, really manky. But it's good. I love the feeling of the paint on my hands,
Yeah.
If I may share, Michelle, when I started off, the big green area at the end I thought was going to be a world or a universe. But it's the top of a head looking down. And you can see there's a nose sticking out. So, and then the other two profiles came. So it's like me, myself, and I.
Oh.
It's all, but when you talked about earlier about self-care, taking care of the self is so important. So that's what it represents to me.
Marianne, do you see the middle as a butterfly or an angel? What do you perceive as the painter?
Oh gosh, I see it now that you say it. I didn't see it before, but I do see it now.
You see butterfly or angel?
I see a butterfly. It's like there's two dots coming into it. So it's like the sea world coming in as well.
But I also think,
yeah,
how important self-care is to that transformation of all the parts, right?
Yeah,
Self-care of all the parts so the transformation happens and the freedom happens and we can fly.
yeah, perfect. Perfect. Mm. But
Wow.
it was strange. As I said, I thought that was going to be a universe, but it's not. It's looking down on the top of the head, so you can just see the nose sticking out. So
Mhm.
there's no point in putting eyes in. It wouldn't look right. So I'll leave it as it is. It's like me, myself, and I. Self-care, Michelle.
Perfect. I'm just going to put that me, myself, and I. Perfect. Are there any frequency numbers that you think will go with this one, Marion?
Oh, let me create the frequency for it. Just
So
give
for
me
those people that don't know Marion's work, you can find her on YouTube. I put her information there, but she also will put a special number that goes with the message of her painting. And you can tap that into your body. You can wear the number on you. You can wave it into the biofield on the outside of the body. If you tap it in, you can tap it in just on the sternum. And so she has card decks of paintings that she's done and all with frequencies and messages. So I'll just share that with you. And I've added my YouTube channel is there. If you're looking for Tai Chi Wellness resources, that's all the seated form is there as well. So you can take a peek.
Michelle, can we share that playlist?
Yes, absolutely. Please share the playlist far and wide. And the other thing that I'll put up here is also my main website. And I don't have Mari with me. Starting next week, I have Colin McLeod on fiddle, and we're going to be doing movement and music for healing. And it'll be on Tuesdays at noon Atlantic time, which would be 8 a.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. if you're over in the UK. And we're going to be starting that in May, and that's going to be a special series advancing the ideas of Tai Chi and movement along with music. So,
what time in the UK, Michelle?
in the UK, it'll be 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
Yeah.
Right. I'm putting the frequency in the chat.
Oh, beautiful. So for those that haven't done this before, Marion will put up a video on her YouTube channel of the creation of this painting and the final look of it. She may sit with it for a little bit, sometimes a couple days, and extra pieces may get added in, and then she'll do the final on it. And you'll have the frequency, so you'll be able to draw back this energy of being in a gathering with so many people around the world at one time, being one world, one breath. And this is a great opportunity for you to bring in that extra energy that you might be looking for in the day, or just to be inspired to be connected with others.
Marianne, I can't see the chat. Can you tell me the frequency?
Of course I can. 443
443
483
483.
44.
Thank you.
And for anybody who is online and may have some discomfort in their body, when you tap that frequency number into your body, you might find that that discomfort dies down and goes away, which normally happens.
Beautiful. Marion, thank you for coming and joining and sharing your talents. It's always delightful to have you here.
Thank you for asking me. I really appreciate being asked. Thank you. It's been wonderful. Thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing the recording so I can join along and do the movements.
Perfect.